Hey everyone, it's Megan with Sawgrass, and thanks so much for joining us. Normally we have a Wednesday Facebook Live. Because of scheduling conflict, we had to move it to today, so we appreciate you all joining us on an abnormal day for our Facebook Lives. Now, as many of you know, this weekend is Father's Day, so we decided it'd be fun to do a Father's Day gift. And we're pressing an item we've never pressed before. We'll be working with a, what would this be? A beer pint, beer mug, stein. Stein is the word. It would be a beer stein. So this is what we are working with today. And what we're going to do is really talk about how to press this product, because what I want to do is have an etched look in this product. So as I design this, I'm going to point a few things out that you need to know. And we always talk about the proper way to mirror and not mirror a design. When is the one time you don't mirror? When you're working with glass. But with this product, you may have to mirror. So we're going to go into that a little bit as well. As always, I am monitoring all of your questions and comments on Facebook. We are also broadcasting on Instagram and YouTube. Our friend Jimmy Lamb is in the back end of Instagram and YouTube answering your questions, because I can only manage so much at once. We also have Alex and our intern Sebastian who are helping out as well. So hopefully between all the platforms, we'll be able to get your questions answered. So just want to say here, people are coming in saying hi. Of course, my Aunt Karen, #1 fan. Hi, Aunt Karen. So let's get into making this beer stein. Hi, Luz. And I'm going to, well, first, what would be great is if I plug my computer in, because I kind of forgot about that one. Alex, if you could help me out here, I'm not really quite sure where the, it's in a completely different room, so that happens. So when I can get the cord, I'll plug my computer in. We'll take you into Creative Studio, and I'm going to show you how to make this stein glass. Thank you very much. Here we go. Lori wants to know if my boss Vic is helping. Nope, Vic is not helping per usual. So let's jump into Creative Studio. I'm at sawgrassinc.com, and I'll go to the Creative Studio button on the top bar. Let's give it a second here. There we go. Glitches out. There we go. I'll go to Start Creating. Our friends at Coastal are watching. Hi guys at Coastal. So what I'm going to do is just design on this 8x8 square, because I know the dimensions of the design that I want to make. So I will go into Designs, and you would think I go in Day, because we do have new Father's Day designs, both free and premium, in our Creative Studio. So just so you know, if you want some Father's Day specific designs, we do have them in our Creative Studio right now. But what I want to make is more of a logo. So I'm going into our Vintage folder, which is all the way at the bottom here. So I'll click on that. All right. And let me go down here, because there is a specific logo that I want. It's this one right here. International Motocross Racing 2015. No, that is not the text I'm going to stick with. We are going to alter it. So when I go back in here, what I want to do is the very simple, truly unique World's Best Dad mug. But it's a beer stein, so it makes it better already. And it's going to look like it's engraved without having to have any of the engraving that you feel when grabbing an engraved mug or stein. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because I want the words to really pop. So here are my words. Now, what is one thing we know about sublimation? You cannot print white ink. When it comes to the color white, it comes off of the base of the item that you're pressing on. This is glass. It is a clear glass, so there's no white to it. So what's going to happen in all of the spaces of my design where you see white, it's actually going to be clear. So keep that in mind when we're designing here. So I said before, I want that etched engraved look. So I'm going to change Worlds and Dad to white. And what's going to happen is it's going to make those words clear in my design. So those will be see-through words that we're going to be able to see, kind of giving it that etched engraved look. So I'm also going to change this down here, and I'll pretend like I'm making it for my dad. Established in 1992. All of you can now do the math in your head and figure out how old I am. So I've got my design made up, and I just want to shrink it a little bit. So I'm going to select all and shrink this up. And let's see here, I'm at 3.5, about just under 4. I want to shrink it up just a little bit more. You're at 3.5 by 2. That looks like it's perfect. So I have my design ready to go, and I'm going to click print. I have my printer, paper. So the million-dollar question, we're working with glass. Are we going to mirror or not? The answer in this case is yes, because we are going to put this on the front side of our glass. Sometimes when we press with glass, what we do is we put it underneath so the words show through from the bottom and you can see it, which is why you wouldn't mirror. In this case, we're going to put this design face down on our mug and it will come reflecting back at us. So in this case, we want to mirror our design. So we'll press mirror. And let's see here, we have glass. And we're going to make this vivid. And it's going to pull up a secondary SPM screen. Let's see. There we go. Sometimes you gotta put your password in again. All right. So here we go. So you'll see when we go to put this on here, you can't tell, I'm gonna hold it up here steady and we can get it on the close-up camera. You can kind of see through here how it does reflect back at you even though we're working with glass. So I'm gonna put that down, and what I'm going to do just to I'm going to quickly, Sebastian, can you grab me those scissors, please? Because this is a little bit larger than the mug that I'm working with, and I just want to cut around the area. Thank you very much. Just going to cut this down. And everyone's pretty quiet today, and I hope you're quiet because you're thinking about what questions you want to ask, because this item takes a little while to press, so we're going to have some time to answer your questions. I'm going to trim some of this excess away still. There we go. I want to have this centered. There we go. Lacey, wonderful question. So Lacey wants to know, do you have to use a special glass mug? And the answer is yes. It has to be a mug that is coated in polymers or polyester because it has to have polymers for the ink to bind to the mug, just like any other sublimation item. So yes, this isn't one that you could just pick up at any store. This has to probably be purchased through one of our dealers. So it looks like everything is on here. All right, and what I'm going to do is just rip off a little piece of this blowout paper to wrap around it so any excess ink doesn't get on our mug press. All right, and I'm gonna tape this paper down as well so it doesn't shuffle around. All right, now I'm going to slide this into my mug press. Oop. There we go. All right. Actually, let me just readjust this because I realized, so if you can see at the bottom of this mug, it has all different ridges. So what I want to do is make sure that those ridges are not inside the press because it could throw off the pressure of the press. So now I have it exactly where I want it to be. And we're going to be pressing this at 380 degrees for 7 minutes. 7 minutes. That's 7 minutes where we can answer any questions that you have. And like I said before, we have Jimmy on the back end of Instagram and YouTube. What I'm going to do is open up YouTube as well and see if there's any questions that I can answer for you all. But I'm monitoring Facebook as usual. So if you have any questions, we'd have more than enough time to answer them. It looks like here's our broadcast on YouTube. Okay. So, top 3 tips for sublimation newbie in Norway. Waiting for my 500 to arrive at the post office. So excited. Wow, that's a great question. Okay, so top 3 tips. I would say number 1, make sure you purchase your blank items from a dealer because then they will be properly coated in the proper amount of polymers. They'll have an even coating. When it comes to purchasing your products from a dealer, make sure when you buy them that you read the directions on their website. Look up that item on their website and see what their pressing instructions are because it takes the proper time, temperature, and pressure to make sure that your item presses the proper way and that you get the colors that you want. So I would highly recommend going through a dealer for substrates and making sure that you follow their instructions so that all of your presses come out the way that you want them to. I would also recommend that you always print through our Sawgrass Print Manager. It talks to your design software and to your printer to make sure that all of your prints have the proper color output. So always make sure that you go through there. Those are probably the top 3 tips that I would give you. All really important things to note. Also, if I were you, I would go to our Sawgrass Academy. That's at sawgrassinc.com. It is free to join and free to take classes. We have classes on sublimation in general and all the information you need to know about sublimation. We also have classes on specific Sawgrass products. And we have classes on what's called Business Builder, where we teach you how to create a business or help your business grow using sublimation. So I would highly recommend our Sawgrass Academy. Again, it is free to sign up, free to join, free to take classes, and we've gotten a lot of great reviews on it. And actually this week is the 1-year anniversary of our Sawgrass Academy. We have a video I'll put out tomorrow that promotes that. So we've got a ton of people who have really had a lot of success with Sawgrass Academy. So Elizabeth says that beer steins and customized air fresheners have been my top sellers for Father's Day gifts. That is awesome. I definitely believe the beer steins. The air fresheners, that's a really unique gift. I'll have to look into those and see how that works. Let's see. People saying hi. So someone wants to know, where do you get blowout paper? So it's just blank newsprint paper. You can get it at office stores, craft stores, anywhere that sells moving supplies. Let's see, any other questions? We do have about 3.5 minutes left. So, what I can tell you, I normally go and talk about this at the end of the show, but I can tell you now. So again, make sure you visit Sawgrass Academy. We have our Ink Differently podcast as well. That new episode came out last week. Another one will come out next week, but we talked to sublimation and craft business owners about their businesses. And they tell us all the tricks of the trade, what they've done to be successful, and a lot of them have really amazing, unique stories. So Ink Differently is available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, and sawgrassinc.com. That's Ink Differently. Highly recommend you listen to the podcast. It's a lot of fun. And if you listen, please leave a review because we'd love to get your feedback. Let's see, what else? Oh, so Jimmy's on the other end here also giving advice to the person who wanted the top 3 tips for new sublimation newbies. He said, I would recommend always having a spare waste tank on hand for your printer. Once the tank is full, the printer stops until you install a new one. They are inexpensive and our dealers sell them. That's a great advice, Jimmy. And Jimmy's been working in the sublimation business for a long time. So if anyone has any idea of what to do, it is him. Just so you know, this is your waste tank. This is what waste tanks look like, and it is in your printer below where you install your ink. So this is what he is referring to. Let's see. What is your suggestion as to advertising and getting customers? There are so many people around me that do the same things, or what good product that is different and sells good? Lacey, another great question. I think it's the same Lacey that asked the question before. So highly recommend having a presence on social media. So having a social media page, having maybe a group associated with your page, putting your designs out there on Instagram, TikTok's a fun one, YouTube, Pinterest. Having any sort of social media presence is great. And what makes social media so great is it doesn't matter if people around you are doing the same thing as you, because it gives you a national or potentially international audience that you're speaking to. So it gives you the potential to sell far and beyond your neighborhood. I would also recommend doing craft shows or even just selling within your neighborhood. For example, a great idea, one thing that I do every year is I sell ornaments to people around my neighborhood. I have our neighborhood name, I made up a little logo. On the back side, I put their address, their name, and what year they moved in. So that is a great way to market to my local area and give them something that I know they want. Personalization is a ginormous business. And if you really want really good information about how to build a business from a business expert, again, I would recommend our Sawgrass Academy. Jimmy has his Business Builder course, and you can take that course for free. And we have one full course out right now. We are working on more coming out. Oh, and it is time for our Stein glass. All right, let's get this removed. Someone wants to know, is there a recycle program for ink cartridges? The answer is no, there is not a program, but they are recyclable. All right. Woo. Okay, I'm gonna hold it up here. So there you go, world's best dad. And as you can see here, all the areas that were white on my screen, even the words that I put in as white, they have a clear area because the printer does not print white. It takes on the background of the item that you're pressing on. In this case, it is a clear item. And again, note, this is not a mirror design. Normally, the suggestion is when you're working with glass, you want to make sure it is not mirrored. For this, because we put the design on the face of our Stein, it had to be mirrored. So keep that in mind. 2 things to really note when working with this. Also, pressed at 380 degrees for 7 minutes. And the colors, that turned out really well. I'm gonna put this down here. All right, what else do we have? I see that Lori is in there giving advice about the program for ink cartridges. Thank you very much, Lori. Okay, let's see, do we have anything Sharon Walsh says, I sell from my driveway. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. And like I said before, listen to that Ink Differently podcast. We talk to people who have done this before. We have a podcast on there about an 18-year-old girl who is making $500,000 selling phone cases out of her family's apartment. She has employed her entire family to help her with this. So everybody has their own story and really good advice on how to sell and how to market. So highly recommend listening to that. And again, the Business Builder. What else do you have? Oh, Lori says, thank you. Oh, sorry, Lacey said thank you. Thank you, Lacey. Russell said cool. Yes, Russell, this is very cool and probably a gift that any dad would not mind receiving. So any other questions that you all have, I would love to answer them for you because we do definitely have some time. Elizabeth said she likes this Stein glass. She's been using the frosted ones. Yes, the frosted ones are also very popular. But right now, what we've noticed is any sort of drinkware has become more and more popular, specifically mugs, the camping mugs, frosted drinkware, all becoming really popular right now. So no doubt that this is going to be popular as well. All right. Anything else? And I would love to help. Not sure what the questions are on Instagram, but I know Jimmy is back there helping to answer. We have YouTube and Facebook pulled up, so I'll stick around just for a second if there are any other questions. Oh, thank you, Alex. I have amazing helpers over here. So we have other drinkware here too that we know is getting really popular as well. So like we said before, drinkware is really big. It's probably one of the most sublimated on items that we see every year. T-shirts and mugs are probably top two. Followed usually by coasters, mouse pads, metal panels, but like drinkware and T-shirts are always top tier items that people love to sublimate on and love to sell and obviously love to buy. Let's see, any other questions? If not, we will be back next Wednesday at our normal time. And we have another Facebook Live next week. Next Tuesday, Crystal Ann will be joining us. Influencer Crystal Ann, she does all sorts of videos on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. She'll be joining us. We're going to be making some stuff. And next week, her podcast episode comes out. We talked to her months ago. Finally able to release the podcast. It's a great one. You hear all about her rise to being an influencer and how she's been able to do it. So next Tuesday, we'll have the Facebook Live with Crystal Ann. Next Wednesday, we'll have our normally scheduled Facebook Live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with Mr. Jimmy Lamb. And then on Thursday, Crystal Ann's podcast will come out. So we have a lot happening next week. And if you want to get your fill of sublimation until then, be sure to go to our Sawgrass Academy for free. And please let us know what you're making for Father's Day. We posted about it earlier. Post your pictures below on that comment because we would love to see what you're working on and what you're giving Dad. If that is all, I will say thank you. Happy Father's Day to all of the dads out there, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone.